Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season premiere of Ray Donovan, a great season premiere. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I was actually curious to see kind of where we'd start off. Obviously, we're picking up like right where season 6's finale left off, at least at the beginning. And it seemed like Mickey was kind of running. He's like, no, I was going to go get, some donuts, or a pack of, and Ray was like, or a pack of smokes. He's like, come on, Ray. Like, I just want, it's like, if you run, it'll be bad for Bunchy. So it's like, all right, let's go. Trying not even give his dad an opportunity. I was wondering when Mickey was like crouched down near the car. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Are you poking a hole in the tire or something? I was like, what are you? He's like, oh, he's picking up a fully clover. I'm like, that's, good luck and everything, but it's also like, I don't know, it's almost a spit in the face because of the whole movie thing to a certain extent. But I guess he's looking at it more as like, it's good luck because I'm finding one out in the wild and stuff like that. At the same time, we see like Ray, talking to Emerald about his whole situation of like, yeah, what will it do if you just let all this anger towards your father go, or not just towards Mick, but towards just anyone, just your anger go in general. So we skip 4 months later, seeing the scope of everything. Obviously, it was interesting because Ray was chasing after a stalker that Stu was like, yo, take care of that. Which I'm like, I love that Stu is the most recurring character. Like, people that Ray has worked with, I feel like Stu's the only one who pops up as often as he does. He's like the most recurring person. It's always interesting. It's like, hey, there's your boy Stu again. Regardless. Anyway, Ray's chasing after the dude and is like, yeah, if you come here again, I think you got things a little twisted about her. If you go near Brittany again, I'm gonna have to like break your arms. And he punches him in the face. And as he's walking away, Ray takes a deep breath. He's like, he felt bad about it. He's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't handle that the right way. But the thing is, I think you got things with Miss Mueller, twisted. So, get some help. I'm like, that's so weird because it's not the Ray Donovan way. The Ray Donovan way is to threaten, and kick your ass. And for him to kind of be like, I'm sorry, because I guess for him, it's like he's working on his anger issues. Wouldn't be the first time he's supposed to be working on his anger issues, because he had C. Thomas Howell as his anger management person. Was that last season or season before last? I want to say it was the season before last. Whatever the case may be. I think it was season 5, during season 5, and that didn't necessarily fix anything. But now he's willing to kind of confront his issues, and he's working on them. So there's that side of thing. I even appreciate the fact is, it's like Emerald, it's like, hey, take the small steps to visit Mick, because obviously all you have to do is take these tiny steps forward where you basically don't have to take any risk. Kind of blew up in his face a little bit because he's talking to Mick. He's like, yeah, I appreciate everything you're doing for Bunchy and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, sure thing, right? Kind of almost like, oh, of course I would. It's almost the context of like, oh, of course I would. I'm his dad. I'd do anything, even though it's like, well, and even Ray's like, I want to say, despite everything between us, because there hasn't been a lot of animosity between us, because it's like, yeah, you guys have some deep-seated issues, family issues, but he's like, the fact is, you haven't always been the greatest dad, Mick, but I forgive you. Mick didn't appreciate it. It's like, you forgive me? Ray, you basically sent me to prison for like 20 years that I could have spent with my fucking family. You should be getting on your knees begging me for forgiveness. And it was like, all right, fuck you, Mick, and moves on. So, and I think at that moment, Mickey kind of regretted it. It was kind of like, he realized Ray was literally extending an olive branch and you snapped. I mean, I get it. Ray's kind of screwed you over in the past, but once again, it's not like you've been a model father. He has a lot of resentment issues just because of everything related to you not being there with his mom. And that's actually an interesting thing. Kind of, someone bring it up. It's a whole like, oh, cheating kind of runs in their family. I mean, I guess it's like this perpetual. I guess you grow up around it. It kind of seeps into you a little bit. Well, because Ray kind of got it from, Mick did it, cheated on his mom. Ray kind of cheated on Abby, not once, not twice, quite a bit. But now we're almost seeing the cycle kind of continue, because it turns out Bridget, which is also pretty dope, seeing her, at the gun range and everything. I love that it's like, oh yeah, that kid, is coming by and she's like, who his name is, that he's pretty famous. And it's the fact that you're acting like, she's like, stop doing that. He's like, well, stop acting like you don't know who he is, like it's no big deal or whatever. It's fucking annoying. But she admits the fact is that getting married to Smitty probably wasn't a good idea. It's like she loves him and everything, but it's like, we shouldn't have gotten married. I haven't figured out who I am, what I'm gonna do. He's still figuring himself out. It's like, it's like, oh, it's okay if you've kind of like, if is it someone else? And he's like, if it is, it's okay. She's like, yeah, of course you would say that. Which was like, oh, I'm sorry, because she knew that wasn't the right thing. And he's like, no. He doesn't say it, but he's like, yeah, I deserved it. I cheated on your mom a lot. That's some shit I gotta live with. But for him, it's like, if you don't want to cheat, then don't. Like, I mean, which is easier said than done, I would think. Just because, like, I mean, if you want to get all psychological, that family's broken. And I think in a sense, they're kind of looking for something to kind of feel that brokenness in them. Like, I think maybe there's this natural instinct that kind of like, I fucked things up. And, it's like, and I think maybe Bridget might start looking at herself like that. I mean, like, not just, I mean, she's going through a lot over the course of the series as well. So I'm like, I think that's going to turn to a plot point, especially the whole, which you actually feel bad because, I was like, oh, it's Smitty. You kind of feel bad for him and everything. But like I said, it's the sad cycle of the Donovan family, I think. It just seems like, in particular, it just seems like when it comes to Ray's side of it, like, because it goes from Mick to Ray to potentially Bridget, maybe not. But I think for him, it's just like, if you don't want to cheat, then don't. Like, don't end up, I'm screwed up in my own right. So my reasons for cheating are just my own because I'm kind of screwed up. But it's like, you don't have to follow down that path. So I'm curious, was she just saying that to say that? Were there other reasons why she doesn't want to be married to Smitty? Or is it just, did she figure that was an easy enough excuse to kind of throw it? Because I halfway believe it when she said it, but at the same time, I'm like, that doesn't sound like the real reason. It sounds like that was just some excuse you wanted just to tell Ray, an excuse you think Ray would be 100% okay with and just wouldn't question too much. So, I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait and see where things kind of go. It has been like 4 months, an extra 4 months since the, season finale, 4 extra months of marriage. So, so there's that. Terry is starting to hallucinate. Well, it seemed like he was hallucinating before he got the new medication, or maybe the new medication he was already on was basically making, because the way he was talking to Bunchy made it seem like, okay, like, this new medication will make it seem like you're hallucinating, but it's like he was hallucinating already, seeing Mick, which is like, of course, the person which is interesting, because when Ray was hallucinating, he saw Abby. So what does it mean that Terry's seeing Mick when he's hallucinating? I wonder what that symbolically means. Well, everyone in that family has issues when it comes to Mick. But regardless, he meets this woman named Liberty, who seems a little hippie-ish, but she seems like she's going to offer an alternative, because it's like, well, the medicine isn't just enough. He can't turn the machine on anymore, because I'm sure because everything he did last season going into those fights and stuff messed it up. So like turning it on would probably end up killing him, type of thing. Or maybe it'd do more harm than good. So there's that. I mean, of course, there's going to be repercussions for Terry doing what he did. But I guess, I'm wondering, in the end of the day, does Terry feel like it was worth it? But I think for him, he needed to feel something. He needed to do something. Like, he felt like his days were behind him. So I guess he just wanted to feel good again. So, like, getting into bare-fisted fights like that, so I'm curious to see what happens in the long run. But yeah, looks like that whole meeting up with Liberty and everything, there's other people there and taking something, then a lot of vomiting and more hallucinating, which I'm like, well, she's talking about kind of like getting all the stuff out of it. It's like, oh yeah, the demons that are in you and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm curious to see in the long run whether that ends up helping. It seems like everyone is kind of going down the path to kind of helping them, trying to get help in their own right. We see Bunchy's kind of working like a regular job and everything. So there's that. I even love this little moment between Lena and Ray where it's like, she's like, so you dealt with that stalker? He's like, yeah, I talked to him. And Lena's like, you talked to him? Even she was caught off guard, like, wait, what? Because even later on, Stu calls him. It's like, I didn't tell you to talk to the kid. It's time to bring out the bat, Ray. So there's that. An interesting development, I guess I should have seen, was that at least one of the heads that they sank last season popped up because someone fished it up. Because of course that's. I wonder. Well, we know at least some of, because they didn't, I don't remember. They buried some of the bodies, didn't they? I believe so. Well, because I know some of the, I think there's at least one person that was sliced to pieces and thrown in the river, I believe, but I don't remember. They buried at least one or two of them in the backyard, didn't they? At Sandy's place? Regardless. So, because I'm about to say, because Detective Perry was like wanting to dredge this, the river, but I'm like, I think that Home Dude's the only body they'll find. Or maybe there were other pieces, because I know they were going to bury something to kind of throw off the dogs, so maybe at least two bodies might be in the water, maybe. So we'll see about it, because I don't remember as clear, because you see it at the beginning, they throw it, but I don't remember if that was just one or whether that was two cops, whatever the case may be. But of course, I'm interested to see where that ends up going, because they were dirty cops, and they were Ferrati's men, so I'm like, will he kind of play defense on that, or will he kind of be like, Ray, you're kind of on your own on that. I love the moment Smitty finds out. He's kind of, because Ray's trying to make him feel better, which I also appreciate that Smitty's working with Ray and Lena. I guess he's kind of like there to mainly answer phones and stuff like that. But the moment he finds out, it's like, oh yeah, they found one in the head. It's the one, with the gunshot to the head. And I love Smitty like, oh my fucking god, I'm going to fucking prison. And he's stressing out, and Ray's like, you're not going to prison. He's like, I gotta call Bridget. Which Bridget shows up, and he's like, oh, I'm so scared. And she's like, don't worry, Dad's going to take care of it. And Smitty's like, thanks, Dad. And it's like, have we gotten to that point you call him Dad? That's crazy. Not Bridget, but I meant like Smitty. That was just interesting. And even Ray looked like he was kind of caught off guard. He's like, what the fuck was that? And it was like, okay, sure, whatever. So I love that. And I guess maybe that's also, sadly, another thing where Smitty's still kind of adjusting to this whole situation, because obviously, yeah, you get caught up in some stuff when you roll with the Donovan family. So maybe that's kind of one angle to this whole situation of why Bridget might not. Some of the stuff in the trailer makes you go like, Smitty's going to have an interesting story this season. I think based on what's kind of been set up so far, I think some of that stuff that seemed out of context with Smitty, I'm like, I think I know what the context is, but if you haven't seen the trailer, I won't say anything, but we'll get to that, eventually later on down the season. So I do like that the whole plan is like, hey, let's get this, take Mick's gun that he shot the cop with and make him take the fall for him. He's already in prison anyway, so I'm sure it doesn't hurt that Ray's already still pissed at his dad, but it's like, hey, you're in a position to take a fall. You're willing to take the fall for your family anyway, right? So how much you claim you love your family and everything. So, and I thought I love that whole thing of like him showing up at Sandy's place and kind of breaking in and everything, and she's like, whoa, couldn't you wait a damn minute before you like vandalize my place trying to get in? And he's like, oh, is this the gun you're looking at? Nope. All right, opens the refrigerator, which, why are you keeping the guns in the refrigerator? Whatever, do your thing. It's like, got guns. And Ray's like, could you stop doing that? And it's like, oh, yep, this is the one. Yep. Thanks, Aunt Sandy, and bounces. So I love that. And the whole plan is to get Mick's fingerprint on it, but then things start getting interesting. Obviously, like, Mickey got that tattoo of the 4-leaf clover. They pull up at the Exgo, like, gas station or whatever, and like, oh, it's got a 4-leaf on it. Huh, that truck nearby's got a 4-leaf on it. And Mick's looking at the guy because he's looking at, like, hey, this must be a sign. Which is so ironic, I guess, in a sense, because all that 4-leaf clover stuff just, I don't know, he had the best of luck with it, obviously. And now it's like, oh, now it's kind of turning his luck around, because obviously the back of the bus transporting them bust open, and it's like, huh? They stopped to fix it. I was almost halfway expecting Mickey and Home Dude, who gave him the tattoo, I halfway expected them to kind of jump out the back or something like that. But it's like, no, turns out not to be the case at all. So I thought that was kind of fascinating. So there's that, but then it's like, huh, Mickey just kept looking like, yeah, something's up with that. I'm like, huh. What's also interesting, maybe it doesn't, I'm not a medical expert. Is it always the same arm when you're having a heart attack? I thought it was like your right arm, because Home Dude grabbed his left arm, which I think is ironic, because that's the arm Mickey's got the tattoo on, is his left arm, right? Am I full? Yeah, right. I might be mixing up my left and right in that moment. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's on Mickey's left arm. So maybe that's supposed to be symbolic, but the dude who's driving the truck, like him and Mickey lock eyes, and Mickey's just probably thinking like, what the hell? Like, he's like, this is interesting. What? Like, is this destiny or fate or something? But Home dude has a heart attack, the truck backs up, and the bus runs into a big explosion, and it's like, oh. So Mickey found a way to escape. I wonder, did his tattoo buddy come along with him? I'd assume so. I'd assume like Mick would probably at least try to save him because he needs somebody's help to kind of help stay out. You know, it's like, oh, that's so interesting. Ray's going there to kind of drop like this, at least, you know, make this at least one dead cop fall on Mickey. But it's like, nope, that's not going to happen because Mickey escaped. So I'm like, that's actually really fast. I was actually halfway expecting when he walked in there that Ray was actually like, no, he followed him in, and it turns out Mick was running. So it's like, I thought that, but it's like, nope. So that's another interesting element to that. Also, I didn't talk about it, but it's like, man, they are so damn. Once again, I always have to praise them with their way to frame people. It's like, oh yeah, like they set that dude up. They had a shorter guy stand there and look like he looked really like a kid from the back, and he's like, I'm keeping it close to Lena, and Ferrari is like, oh my god, Ray, is that a kid? And Ray's like, no, it's a little person. It's like, holy shit. I'm like, that's a good framework, making it seem like it went down in front of a kid. I'm like, that's super fucked up. And but it's like, that's kind of yours and Lena's thing of like orchestrating like some good like blackmail. What I thought was interesting was the dude Kevin said he knows Ray. I'm like wondering what the hell that's about. Maybe it has something to do with the cell that McGrath locked him up in last season, at the beginning of last season. Maybe that's where he knew Ray. Maybe being at the hospital where he got arrested and got taken to where he met Amiot, but maybe not. I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention, but it was just like, but Ray kept ignoring it. I'm like, oh, and that's must be going to turn into a plot point or something. So it's so interesting because it's like we're just kind of picking up where the Donovan family kind of is. We even get a little peek to see what Daryl's up to, but not that much. So I'm really interested to kind of see things going forward because I think things are really going to start rolling now, especially because this whole Mickey thing and the cops are looking into these other dead cops. Like I said, I doubt Ferrari's probably going to cover them because he's doing this whole mirror thing, which Ray's still working for him. And I'm curious to see where that goes. In the grand scheme of things, with all other kind of stuff, you know, things start off a little mild and then they get more and more intense later on, especially in the position that Ferrari's in, being mayor and everything. What that really means, we'll kind of see what that translates over to Ray and everything. I'm so interested to see where this season ends up taking us. I expect things to get wild and crazy from here. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.